Hi, it's Collingwood again, round 20, Friday night at the MCG in a rematch this season. This is the second time we play the Pies, and I don't know, I feel like a whole world has changed since we last played them, and it has. You think of the way we were playing, you think of the sentiment about the club, around the club, from us. A lot has happened. I feel like we've gone through a full season and we've come through the other end. And there's been challenges and there's been a test. And we currently find ourselves on, I think it's an upward trajectory. You know, we've won 5 games in a row for the first time since 2000. And we've won 5 games convincingly as well. One of those 5 games was obviously Port Adelaide, which was a serious contender. And so this week we're going to test it again against the best side in the comp. We have to start there. We have to respect what the Pies have been able to do. It's not even a question who the best team in the comp is now. That's the kind of level that they find themselves in. They've earned that. And, you know, I think the last time we played, I know me personally, it was the first game since round 23 last year. So I just went into that with, I think I was a bit damaged from it, to be honest. I hadn't truly gotten over it. It was a shock to the system. I wanted revenge so much, took it personally. And I think having spoken to a few people, both on the channel and off the channel, I've understood, round 23 was heartbreak, but it's nothing compared to what Carlton used to do to Collingwood in finals and grand finals. And so I've had a bit of a learning experience this week and things have been put into perspective. Yes, it was a heartbreak last year. And I guess that just goes to show the type of Carlton I've been watching in my life for that to be, heartbreaking. But look, when you look at the way the team were playing then compared to the way we're playing now, a lot different. They, back then, round 10 and earlier than that, it was a lot of thinking, overthinking. Maybe there were new layers added to the game plan that they just needed to get used to. Whereas now there seems to be a deeper commitment to the defensive side of the game, not just from the back six, but from the entire ground. We're seeing a lot of our forwards increase with their tackle pressure. We're seeing the midfield lift with its intensity. And then we're creating spillage, keeping it simple, get the ball moving forward. All of a sudden, we're starting to see our overlap run again. And these notions were the hallmarks of what we were in the start of 2022 when it all looked different. So, I really want to win this week. It's not in my control. It's not in our control. I think what we can control is the energy in the crowd. Obviously bringing that noise, getting to the damn stadium and bringing that noise. And I think also for this week, from what I observe, if the Blues are able to do it this week, I really think absolutely everyone jumps on board and it starts the real sound. The real music begins if they're able to get this scalp. I think Port was a big one because they were a top 4 side, no matter how you look at it. And that's something we weren't able to do for a long time. And that brought people back on board. And I think this week would be just special. And I mean, for the rivalry, let's talk about it. I have not seen many victories against Collingwood in person, nor have we in the last 10 years. 2012, we beat them twice, round 3. That was a Friday night. And we beat them in round 15. We then beat them in round 7 of 2016. And we beat them in round 7 of 2017. And then obviously we beat them in 2021. But when you really think about it for a moment, in the last 5 years, say 2017, that was the last time we as fans were at the stadium watching Carlton beat Collingwood. 2021 was lockdown, so we weren't there. And so we need to see it. It's got to happen. And if it happens this week, it happens this week. If it's the next time we play them, it is what it is. Time and the history books are written under nobody's narrative other than what they will be. It's out of our control. So if it's not this week, we'll just have to wait a little bit longer. But I'm really excited to experience it because I know there will come a time where it happens. And so it's another little mini milestone, I think, for the journey of these guys. And for a lot of them in their careers, they don't have too many experiences beating Collingwood. Most of them would only remember once or twice, and that's if they were playing in 2016 and 17. After that, that one game under a different circumstance with lockdown. So it's big for everyone involved. The Pies will play. I've listened to the rhetoric and I've read in between the lines the whole, it's not a big game for Collingwood. It's Carlton's grand final. We don't care. Bullshit. Don't lie. I've noticed more Collingwood supporters tuning into the channel, which generally tells me that they have I don't know if the word's fear, but they're starting to respect what we're doing. And I also noticed there's this underlying, almost like we're underrated. The mainstream, the external, haven't quite jumped on board yet. And I love it. I'm loving that none of our players are in this overhyped conversation about who's the best in the league. I'm more than happy to have no player in the top 10 players in the competition as judged by whoever's judging it, so long as we're winning games. I would much rather be flying, not to be scared of being in the spotlight, but let everyone else get sucked into who's the best this and who's the best that. I don't care. It doesn't bother me anymore. I think it used to, but not anymore. I just want to win games, and I want to see them continue to play that team game that they have been. And look, when it comes to this week, the way in which we play, I think the way in which we hunt teams, the way in which we force turnover, our stoppage work, our ability to play for one another, I think it'll challenge Collingwood. I think it's got the capability to challenge Collingwood. I think it's got the capability to challenge any side in the competition. And we've been able to see it for longer periods of time. So it's more or less going to be about a mental game this week, because I have no doubt that we're capable. We'll talk about the injury situation. So Cripps, Chera, Martin were all rested last week. I would assume all three of them come back in this week. At the time of filming this, I don't know. By the time you're watching this, the teams may be out, but those three in particular, I think, would come back in. I don't have any reason to suggest that they're injured. The club, I would assume, would have told us by now if they were injured more than just what they needed to rest from last week. We lose Walsh. We've already lost Harry. Jack Silvani won't play. But there are a few that will play, and there are a few that are available. All of a sudden, Pitto's available, which, if I'm going to war, I want Mark Pittonet in my team. If I am going on the battlefield, I want him there. I love what he brings. It would also allow Tom de Koning to play a little bit more forward and not have to worry about, are there too many big boys down there? Caleb Marchbank's the other one that has seemingly been forgotten about. We've seen the insertion of Cunningham into this team. We've seen the insertion of Jack Martin back into this team, even Fogarty. But those first two in particular, Marchbank is the other one on the list who has just been injured all the time. And it's been devastating for him and for us who support him to watch him go through it. So it looks like he's fit. He's played a few games in the VFL, coming off a really good game last week. And I just look at that situation. We've already lost Boyd in that back pocket. We bring in Cowan last week. So I'm thinking I'd rather the experience of Marchbank in the side sooner rather than later, because I think he can contribute to the team, not dissimilar to what we are seeing at the level of Cunningham and Martin. I actually think Marchbank's a great player. I don't think he's a good player. I think he's a great player. I just think he's been ravaged by injury. So there has been a bit of talk about, the injury crisis at Carlton. I don't believe it's a crisis. We're just missing a few players. It is what it is. If we're really a good side, then the system will carry us through. The Pies are fully healthy. Good on them. The Pies have also got this confidence that I haven't seen from them in a long time. We saw the comments from Braden Maynard earlier in the year on that show.
Carlton, I love beating Carlton. I just love the fact that they're in a bit of a shambles at the moment.
We saw the comments from Still Sidebottom after the game in round 10. And, they were justified at the time. Doesn't mean I don't forget them, but they were justified. So for this game, I'm really curious to see how we mentally take it to them. You know, there will be a moment in the game. Somebody will bump someone. Somebody will tackle someone. There will be a level of assertiveness displayed at some point for one of our big players and one of their big players. And I'm looking forward to seeing which way it swings the balance of the mental game. Because that's all it is. And I don't know, 90,000, 95,000 people there. This is what we wanted, right? This is what we wanted 6 weeks ago, or even at the start of the year, or even if you go back to 2018, 19, when we were winning, 2 games in a season. All we want to do is be playing in big games, blockbuster games against the best sides in the competition and be relevant. And I think we're getting there. We've found a way somehow this season to put ourselves back on the map or back on track to feature and do some damage in the season at the end of the year. And so, yeah, I'm a bit, I'll be honest, there's this irrational fear to believe. But I also do understand that in anything in life, in order to really succeed, in order to win, you've got to be willing to fail. You've got to be willing to get hurt. And I've noticed that with myself, not wanting to get too caught up in what's going to happen or the excitement. But at the same time, I understand, mate, give into it. Whatever the next 5 weeks will be. We're going to be sitting at home in 3 months from now, hanging for the football to come back. So the next 5 weeks, we just got to enjoy it and embrace it, because we're in the hunt, and that's all you can ask for, just to be part of the mix and let the footy do its thing. So I'm ready. I'm ready to do it, and the idea of us beating Collingwood. Oh, man, what it would do for us, to our fans. It would really, I think it'll spark the season at the right time. It'll add another layer of a navy blue spark to the conversation, both externally and internally as well. I think the belief on all fronts is the key focus for what Friday could be. So I'm ready. What about you? How are you feeling ahead of Friday night? Are you going? Where are you sitting? How do you feel? What do you think about changes to the team? What do you think about Collingwood? I know what you think about Collingwood. Collingwood supporters, I know you're watching. Stay tuned, because I'm about to have a chat with Eddie Maguire. And if you're watching this later, make sure you check that chat out. You're welcome for your entertainment. Have a good one. Go Blues.